antifreeze in one.
Okay, so we're back with the Nissan 720. Of course it haven't left yet. Still got a little bit more work to do on it. The last video you seen, we did the test drive. Everything worked out fine. Except for we had leaky wheel cylinders on the back for the brakes, and the battery light wouldn't go off even though the alternator was charging. So what I'm doing now is getting the old original alternator off, which those bolts are really seized into the brackets. I got two of them off. I just got this front one way down at the bottom down here. That's giving me some problems. And we got the new wheel cylinders for the back. They're kind of weird looking. I've never seen any wheel cylinders. Got 4 screws that hose into the backing plates. And we got the new alternator. You go on there. Brand new. So hopefully this solves the battery light issue. The alternator was still charging, but what it was, the battery light wouldn't go out. So this is the correct one for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this alternator off here, and we'll get the new one on, fired up, and hopefully the battery light stays out. So here's the original alternator beside the new alternator. And what you want to do whenever you buy these parts, especially for an old vehicle, you always want to make sure that you got the same part, because they might look the same but be a hair different. So we're going to look at the back, just make sure. The thing about this one, it's got this condenser on there. I mean, I don't think that would make a difference. Maybe that improves the alternator, and this one don't. But we got the same plug here, and it had a ground wire here where this E goes. So I guess we'll just take, oh, that screw is already loose. Take that screw out and we'll put that ground wire back on there. And this one, your main battery cable goes. You see it says battery on there. B-A-T-T. So then you want to look at the mounting, because a lot of these alternators can have different mountings, which this looks the same. Turn it around. You want to make sure that's the same, which that is. And you want to make sure the top mount is in the same direction, which looks correct. And then you want to look at the pulley, make sure you got a single belt pulley if you're running single. You can tell that pulley, it's got a lot of wear on it. See how the top is real thin going down into there versus this one's thick. So basically, same alternator. You got mounting here, mounting there, so it's ready to go. So I'll get it back in, get the belt on it, and like I said, we'll fire it up. And one more thing with these alternators too, you gotta make sure the pulley is the same, because you might have to get a shorter belt or a longer belt. It looks like this pulley's a little bit bigger than that one, which it had a lot of adjustment left on the bracket. This is the adjustment bracket here. I think it was, you can kind of see where it was bolted right there. So we still got all of this room here to go. So we'll be good on that. So let's get it in there. Now it's not a real easy way to get this alternator in there, so I'm just kind of snaking it through the radiator hoses very carefully, not to cut it. Should have took that battery nut off of there before I get it all the way in there, and then I can't get it off. I guess we'll take this screw out too. Nice shiny new stuff. Now, it's in there. Just got to get it over that bracket. Let it rest down in there. Kind of hard to see in there. It's got 2 bolts at the bottom, and then of course the one at the top for your belt adjustment. And that's the original alternator. Still got the, was it Nip and Denso labels on it, and the way these bolts were seized in that bracket, you can tell it's been on there for a long time. Now I just got that top bracket loose, where I can swivel it down over the top of the alternator. So it's on there. Like I said, it's kind of hard to see down in there because the hoses and stuff is in the way. See it in there. So the only thing we gotta do now is put the belt. Because this thing don't have power steering. It's just got compressor, water pump, and alternator. Of course the crank pulley. It's not all the way on there. It's so dark down in there, you can't see anything. I think the belt's on there. Yep. And then you just gotta push it forward and tighten the belt up. And see, we still got a lot more adjustment on that bracket down there. even though that pulley is a little smaller. So just take you like a crowbar or something, kind of gingerly press against this water pump housing and hold it. Then tighten the top bolts and then the bottom bolts. Hook the wires up. And this baby's ready. Alright, new alternator's on. Battery light is out. Windshield wipers on. No more battery light. Choke's on right now. High beam switch has got a little jiggler. There it goes. You had to jiggle it to get the little bit. I'm gonna spray some contact cleaner in there. That should take care of that. But choke hasn't shut off yet. Anyway, battery light's not on. All the lights are nice and bright. Like I said, it was charging, just that the battery light was staying on. Something inside the alternator. There's a diode in there that tells that battery light to come on. There she goes. Choke finally off. Yeah, and it tells that battery light not to come on, or when to come on. I heard the horn for a split second. Might just be a loose connection out there. But anyway, like a kitten. Now it's got a new alternator. Belt was good, so we need one ready. So next, we got the wheel cylinders for the brakes in the back. So we get these on there. That's the part number. We got one of these trucks. That's the part number on the box. Part number of the box is WC 37509. This is that year. W37509. A little different. Maybe they used to sell it in the package and then break dust, put it in the box. That's the alternator number. Remanufactured in Malaysia. Made in Taiwan. So, get this thing up in the air and get those little cylinders on there, and I think got 2 more other items I got them wrote down, but we'll tackle that too. So I got the rear drum off, and this wheel cylinder was definitely leaking. You can see the brake fluid right there, and it's just been sitting here pouring brake fluid out. And it's all over the back wheel, and it's all in the brake drum. So if you watched the video, the last video of the truck, when I drove it, I pulled to the side of the road. I noticed that the back wheel was wet and the brakes started fading away. So that's a telltale sign that we got a brake fluid leak at the wheel cylinder. Being this has got metal brake lines at the rear, I didn't think that'd be the issue, that the brake line was rusted. But we got the brake line off, and we'll get this I hate brake fluid. It gets on your hands, tools. It's hard to get them out of these ratchets. You have to almost soak it with something. Brake cleaner. So what I did, I took this little spring loose on top right here with a little pair of vice grips, and that allowed me to open these shoes up. Should just fall out of there. I didn't want to take the whole brake shoes off. That's just a washer. I really should have took the bleeder screw out, but there it is. Usually you can move these little cups back. See what's all deteriorated right there? That means that wheel cylinder seal in there is corroded, leaking. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put the new one in, and then I'm gonna clean all this mess up. Just get the new one, wipe my hand. I'm thinking it's the same side for both, because it just goes straight into the backing plate. Some wheel cylinders where the brake lines go, they point at angles, so it takes a different wheel cylinder for each side. But this one here, just goes straight into the backing plate, which is good. So there's a new one. It's got a little cap, keep the dust out of there. So like that. You have to turn these little notches so the brake lines can, the brake shoes go back in. I guess I'll go and pull that little cap out so it won't be hard. And it comes with all the new locking nuts, lock washers and nuts, so makes it easy. You don't have to use the old ones. This thing is dripping brake fluid everywhere. The brake line is. Hurry up and get that back in there. I guess we can put it in there while it's loose. You have to be careful with these brake lines too, because they're that fine thread. You can easily cross them. Like this one. Don't want to start. Sometimes you can start it in there and just kind of wiggle the brake line while you're twisting the fitting in, and that'll help it start. Just kind of jiggle it, get jiggy with it till you get it started good enough, and then tighten her on down. You don't want to strip out the wheel cylinder, because these right here especially are made out of aluminum, which most of them are made out of metal. You don't want to strip that fitting either. then you have to cut the brake line and put your new compression fitting on there and flare the line and all that good stuff. So that wheel cylinder's on. Let's put the rest of the screws in. I mean, lock washers and the nuts that holds it. This brake fluid just eating right through these cheap gloves. Right, so now we can just tighten them up. Don't have to He-Man tighten them. I actually think those are 12s. The ones I took off are 13. So that's in. Now I just gotta turn this little notch and then hook that spring back up. I'm gonna get a flathead screwdriver. That one went right in. Just kind of give it a little tap. That shoe's back in. Hook my little baby vice grips. Got so much brake fluid on, it's gonna be hard. Really need to clean that off. I had to get the big vice grips. You have to be careful with them springs too. Them suckers will fly off, take an eye out. So this side's back together. I'm gonna get some brake cleaner, spray everything down, and put the drum on, and then we'll move on to the other side, and then we'll bleed the brake. So this is the passenger side. You can see how dry it looks in there. So this side wasn't leaking, but I guarantee you it's probably going to start. It looked like somebody replaced this one because it looks like the one that we put on, the new one we put on, because the original one said 5/8 right here. Well, this one just got Pt.4. So this one's probably been replaced. The other side is probably the original one. But we're gonna replace it anyway. We got both of them. It don't make no sense of shortcutting it. So I'm gonna go ahead and snatch this one off. Clean up some of this brake dust. The shoes look pretty decent. They don't have that much pad on them anyway. I checked them when I got the wheel cylinders. We looked at how thick they was. And pretty much by looking at the picture, these got some life in them. So the same scenario as the other side. Brake line, 4 nuts, take the spring off, wheel cylinders off. Had a little trouble getting this drum off. The thing about these drums, they have holes with threads in them, where you can just take some bolts and thread them in there, and that'll help push against, so they come through, and it pushes against the axle flat surface, and it'll push that drum off as you tighten them in. You gotta go evenly with it though. Don't just go cracking down on one side. Screw them in evenly. I would do it with a ratchet or a wrench. I wouldn't put an impact or nothing like that, because you could just snap them off. And I spray a little lube down in the holes first to knock that rust out. But once that did it, came right out. The drum looks nice and smooth. No grooves in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this wheel cylinder changed out, and then we'll get the brakes bled up, and hopefully she stops like it's supposed to, and no more brake fluid leaks. So while bleeding the brakes on this thing, the original fuel pump took a crap, which is this one here. It was actually on the frame like that, and I took the pump I had and put on here, and truck cranked right up. So I'm going to put this low pressure pump by Precision. That's the part number. I think it's 5 psi. It's all it needs for this carbureted engine. If you're running carburetor, that's all you need is 5 psi. I think if you're running fuel injection, you need something like 7. A little bit more than that probably. But this is a brand new Precision pump, and it comes with all the attachments. It's got the clamp, it's got the inline filter that you can screw into the fuel pump. All of them come like that, Precision wise. I don't know if that was a Precision pump or not that was on there. It's kind of an older pump. But you got your, says out right there, and then this will be your in. So here's that little filter. It screws in, so that'll be in. Should go that way, I believe, and that just screws. That keeps the trash from getting into the fuel pump and out to the engine, I believe, because you don't want trash into your fuel pump. It'll burn it up. But there's the clamp. So it was basically screwed to the frame, but the screw right here, I tried heating it up and everything, which wasn't a good idea, but the fuel pump was empty, the original one. So I had to end up just breaking it off. So we're just gonna put it right here on this screw next to it. So we get the new fuel pump on, and should be good to go. Like I say, it comes with a bag of hoses. I think this is 5/16 hoses. It comes with the little squeeze clamps. It comes with some wire connectors in there. And it comes with the little fittings. You don't have to run that inline filter. You can just put the fittings in each end. Especially if you don't have room. Since it's got a filter right up here, you probably can't see it, it's a plastic filter. We're not going to run the inline filter. We're just going to put it back the way it was with just the fuel pump there. And so yeah, so if you're running a carburetor engine, you can get this part number here. I've used this on motorcycles, side-by-sides, ATVs. It's just a low pressure pump. Now they sell all kind of different pressures in the same name brand. I love Precision. They make some good pumps. No, they're not sponsoring this video. I wish they was. And those pumps, they last a long time. This one, it was working fine. You know, it had some bad gas in it at the beginning. I flushed it out, and it just took a crap. Let's see what it says. That says 2 to 4 psi, I believe. Kind of hard to. It's 2 to 4 psi. So it's just a low pressure pump. This one's made by Automotive Electric. So it's been on this truck. I don't know if you can see it there. Automotive Electric. Been on this truck forever. It just took a crap. I even tried tapping on it. So I'm gonna get this fuel pump off. This is the one I had. It's a Precision product. It's one of their clickety-clack pumps. And we'll get the new pump on there, get her fired back up, and get this thing down on the ground. We got the brakes bled up, which I'm glad that we were running it, bleeding the brakes, and right when I got it bled up, that's when it quit running. So I'm glad we got that over with. So I'm gonna get this done, and then we'll move on. Alright, so the new fuel pump is on, the fuel pump. Petrol pump. Let's see when she start. So, got that done. That should last a long time. So, now what I need to do is replace this one headlight bulb that blew out while we were test driving. It's the low beam side right here. So we can get that job done. Hopefully I don't have to take the grill off to do that, because the grill is kind of rigged on there and I don't really want to disturb it. But I think just a couple of Phillips head screws and we'll be good to go. While I got it in the air, it'll be easy to work on. I won't have to bend over. So we kind of got the grill tied on there with some baling wire. So I guess we will have to take the grill off. Get in there. I don't see where else is connected. I think it's just these two screws here at the top, and we might be able to just wiggle that bulb up out of there. I know the plug-in. Oh, dropping tools. Plug-in is unplugged. So let me get a long Phillips head screwdriver. I don't want to really disturb this grill. If I can sneak that bulb out of there, be great. Then we can just put the woo, that is tight. Probably ain't never been out. Well, it says Phillips and one of them says Sylvania. What was that? So I suspect it's been changed, but a long time ago. So I think if I can gingerly man, I don't want to have to take this grill off. I think it just sits in the hole. There it goes. Gingerly fold that forward. I don't think that's gonna work. Oh, there we go. It just went on, came off anyway. This kind of sits in the hole in the front cap or fender. Front cap, fender. Come on out of there. Blown headlight bulb is out. Now I gotta get the new one. Alright. Sylvania. Is that how you say it? Sylvania. This is a H4651, just a basic low beam bulb. And we need to make sure, because we got a problem. Seems like I got the wrong bulb. This one has the 2 prongs, so this is a low beam only. And the other one has the 3 prong. It's a low beam and high beam, so I actually got the wrong bulb. I thought the middle ones was high beam and the outer ones were low beam. So I'm gonna have to try and swap that out tonight if I can. Hopefully I can. So here's the new bulb. It is made by Sylvania. It's the basic headlight bulb, nothing special. H4651.
But I made a boo-boo. This one, it's got 2 prongs, which the original one has 3 prongs. So I'm gonna have to take that bulb back. I thought just the middle headlights were high beam and the outer ones were low beam, but all of them are high beam when you turn it on. So I'm gonna have to take this one back, swap it out right quick before they close, and get the one with the 3 prongs and get it in there. It's always something, I swear. Y'all see what that is turning down there? That's called the AC compressor. That's right, the AC works. I took the control panel apart. If you watched the first video, you'll notice that this button for a hot and cold was stuck. It wouldn't switch. So I took all that apart, rolled it, got it where it goes hot and cold. This one wouldn't go all the way to the AC. So I got it where it goes to the AC. Now it works. Here's the pressure. Kick on and off. And it's blowing cool. Got some cool air coming out of it. So that's good. So the AC works. I'm sitting all this time. Hear that? That click? That was the compressor going off. Hear it come back on? It's got some cool air coming out. So put it on hot. Compressor's off. Put it on heat. Heat will be on the floor. Oh yes, it's starting to get warm. So it's got AC and heat, which is good. So I just wanted to show you that. Like I say, I took that panel loose and lubed all the cables that connects to the switches, and it's all functioning. Radio still don't work though. Well, wait a minute. I've never seen the light come on before. I don't hear nothing. Let's turn the key on. Oh, it do work. The radio does work. I just had to turn it on and off to get the stations to pop up. Let's see here.
Natural solution from local medical professional.
Oh, yeah.
We have a
Radio
team
works.
of medical assistants.
Let's see if I turn it off, will it come back on? Oh yeah.
Trained
Oh
specific-
yeah. This thing's coming back to life. Slowly but surely. So we know the radio works, we know the AC works, we know the heat works. We got all the lights working. Thing about the headlight was, so I took the headlight bulb back, and they had to order the right one for it. They were out of stock of the 3-prong high beam low beam headlight. So it'll be in tomorrow, and be able to get that back together, and the headlights will be working. I couldn't believe that they didn't have any in stock. They had all the regular headlight bulbs with the single element, but not the dual for the high beam low beam. So when I get in, fix that. Also found out, if you watched the first video, I couldn't get the center caps on the wheels. I thought they go through the back of the wheels. They actually go on the front of the wheels, and the lug nuts holds them on those tabs. It's weird because there's a space back there, but it's on there. So I got talking to the owner, and he bought these wheels, and he said that on these type of wheels here, the hubcap is held on by the lug nuts. You just gotta put the lug nuts on first, slip the hubcap up there, kind of just hold it and tighten the lug nuts down by hand. So that's the way they went on. I got all 4 of them on there, so now it's got the center caps. This thing is road ready. We got it registered with tags and everything, so it'll be ready to hit the town. I think he's even getting some more seats for it, because those seats are trash up under them covers. But anyway, I'll have the headlight in it tomorrow, and we'll get it out and drive it, and it'll be soon going home. So be officially saying bye-bye to the 720. So till tomorrow with this headlight situation, and then we'll see what's up. Alright, so we got the headlights going, little truck running good. We got the center caps on it, and it's ready to go. Like I said, you don't see these trucks no more. There's not a lot of them around, so if you got one, you need to keep it, because they're going up in value. So anyway, that's gonna be it on the little Nissan. It's fixing to leave. It's going to its new home. Like I said, we got everything on it going. So if y'all like the little truck, maybe another one will come through. I don't know. Like I said, they're hard to find, they're hard to come by. So y'all just keep watching and smash that like button. So I'll holler at y'all later.